Hello everyone, myself Ruchi Patel, working as an assistant professor at LJ College of Physiotherapy. Today I am going to take third year topic, that is postural evaluation part 3. In part 1, we have studied related to the posture definition, types of posture, factors affecting to the maintaining the posture, and in the part 2 we have studied related to the various spinal deformities. And today in the part 3 we are going to study about the scoliosis, its evaluation, and overall postural evaluation. So let's start with the presentation. As we all know, scoliosis means lateral curvature of the spine. This type of deformities is often most visible spinal deformity once it becomes the severe form. And if it is present in the cervical spine, then it is called as the torticollis. Scoliosis is mainly divided into two types, that is structural and non-structural. Non-structural scoliosis, it is also called as the functional scoliosis. Another is the structure. So we'll see the difference between the non-structural and structural scoliosis. The main cause for non-structural scoliosis are nerve root irritations, inflammation, any difference in the limb length discrepancy, then the postural problem, emotional problems, etc. Whereas in the case of structural scoliosis, the primary involvement will be the bony deformities, and which may be a congenital or acquired or excessive muscle weakness uh, after the long term immobilization or the long term problem like quadriplegia, wedged vertebrae, hemivertebrae, etc. So these non-structural scoliosis, there will be no any bony deformities. The structural scoliosis is the lack of normal flexibility. So the person will not have that much of normal flexibilities. Then side bending will be symmetrical in the case of non-structural. In the case of structural, it is a asymmetrical. This non-structural scoliosis is not progressive type, whereas structural is progressive type. The curve, abnormal curve, which disappears on the forward bending, whereas in the case of structural scoliosis it won't get disappear. So this non-structural scoliosis usually found in the cervical, lumbar, and the thoracolumbar region, whereas in the case of structural scoliosis mainly seen in the thoracolumbar and thoracic spine area. So idiopathic scoliosis, 75 to 85% of the cases are cases of idiopathic uh, cause, or we can say that is the structural scoliosis. In the structural scoliosis, as we all know, the vertebral body will rotate towards the convex side, whereas the spinous process will rotate towards the concave side. So these are the changes which are associated with the postural scoliosis, like bony segment changes. So we can say the difference between the spine's curves on the left to the right side we can observe. There will be the ribs will get protruded towards the concave side. Then there will be the level difference in the inferior angle of the scapula. It might be excessive elevated on the convex side. There will be the muscle weakness, which can be seen. That is the hip abductors and the muscles on the convex side will get mainly weaker. Whereas the commonly that muscles which go for the shortening, that are the on the concave side, and hip adductors on the convex side also will get the in the shortened position. The deformities or abnormalities which are associated with the joints, that is the lumbar, thoracic, pelvis, then there will be the cervical spine changes will occur, atlantoaxial joint, temporomandibular joint, scapulothoracic joint, glenohumeral joint. So in these all the joints that will get affected just because of the postural scoliosis. So here you all can see the level of the scapula will not be at the same level. inferior angle will not be at the same level. The one side of the scapula will get elevated. The PSIS will not be at the same level. The west line is also not same. The distance between the west and arm will get changed on both the side. Length of the arm also will get changed. Then during the evaluation, we can do the inspection and curve measurement. Inspection will check for the level of ear or contour of the neck. Then shoulder level will see whether it is higher or at the same level. On the convex side, the scapula will be at the higher level. Then scapular level, the level of inferior angle and the distance from the vertebral body to the scapula should be checked. The vertebral body will get shifted away from the midline, and this inferior angle of the scapula also will get uh, more in the outward direction. The position of the arms and wrist should be checked. So the arm on the side of the high shoulder will be close to the body, and the back will be appear wider on the convex side just because of the bulging of the ribs. Then we'll check for the thorax whether the ribs are crowded on the concave side or convex side. Generally, concave side the ribs will be getting crowded. PSIS level will check. Generally, it will be higher on the concave side. Pelvis position, that is a anterior tilting, posterior tilting, or whether it is in a high position, that will check. Generally, that will be raised. That will be the hip will get raised on the concave side. So knee alignment will check, and weight bearing area, that is the foot, will check whether the both the foot are taking equal weight or not. So we'll do after that forward bending test. If the curve will not get disappear, then that is the structural scoliosis. Then we'll check for the Cobb's angle. That is the one line. It is a radiographic measurement. Once the X-ray will taken, then they will do this measurement. The line which is drawn from the upper part of the vertebral end plate, and the one line which is drawn from the lower part of the lower vertebrae, and the distance should be measured. The other method is the perpendicular line from this both the uh, lower and the upper vertebral line should be drawn, and then the angle between these two perpendicular lines should be measured. So overall, whenever we do the postural evaluation for in general for any condition, then we'll do in the standing position, then sitting position, supine lying position, and in the prone position. So in the standing position, we'll do first, and before going for the postural evaluation, we'll check for the body type, whether it is an ectomorph, that is excessive thin body, mesomorph, that is the muscular body, or endomorph, that is the rather than the muscular, here the fat accumulation will be more. Along with that, will the examiner should be noted these certain points, that is the emotional attitude of the patient. Is the patient tensed, bored, or lethargic? Does the patient appears to be a healthy, emaciated, or overweighted, whether the patient is healthy, thin, or overweighted. If the answer of these questions is yes, then of course it takes more time for the recovery of the patient, as the patient interest in the correcting the problem is most important. If the patient active participation is more, then we can correct the problem as early as possible. So this all the evaluations will write down or will note into the form, postural evaluation form. In that we have to write about the anterior view. Anterior view will check for the head position, whether it is excessive forward, backward, or one side tilted. That will check. Mandible level will check. Mandible is excessively in the anterior or in the backward direction. Then we'll check for the shoulder, rib cage. Then we'll check for the ASIS. Then we'll see for the any pelvic position, that is pelvic hike or drop. Then we'll check for the knee line, knee joint line, patellar position. Then both the foot should be checked. The malleoli level are equal on both the side or not, and the toes, if there is any deformities are present or not. Then in the lateral view, again we'll check for the level, and as well as we'll check for the arches of the foot. Then in the posterior view, we'll check for the inferior angle of the scapula, then the level of the upper level of the scapula in the upward, whether it is in an excessive up elevated or in the downward direction. Then we'll check for the PSIS. Then we'll check for the distance of the scapula from the midline. Then the knee joint line will see, and the foot position, whether it is a pronated or it is a supinated type. So there's all the records, there's all the findings will write down into the recording form. So here you can see the PSIS, ASIS level should be checked. Then bilateral genu varum, uh, whether it is there or not, that should be checked. Here in the mother and in the son, this level should be checked. Again, the deformities, that is the adult deformities, that is the genu valgum. Then we'll check for the foot deformities. In the lateral view, we'll check for the neck, whether it is excessive forward, backward. Then we'll check for the upper back, then trunk area. Then we'll check for the abdomen and lordosis for the lower back area. So this is in the lateral view. In the posterior view, we'll check for the PSIS level. Then, as I said, we'll check for the neck position, scapular level. Then we'll check for the shoulder height, whether it is a both the side it's the same or one side it is elevated. Then we'll check for the spine, the scapular level from the midline of the body. Then we'll check for the hip PSIS and foot, whether it is a pronated or any rotation is there or not. Then we'll do forward bending test. If the curve is appearing, disappearing, or it is a present, that will check, especially for the scoliosis. Again, we'll do the all the evaluation in the sitting position and we'll write down. Then supine position, position of the head, cervical, and shoulder girdle will check. Then chest movement will observe. Then abdominal, whether it is a flabby, then the whether it is a strong or flabby. West angle should be checked. ASIS level should be checked, and knees and foot and the malleoli also should be assessed. Same way in the prone line position, we'll check for the head, neck, shoulder girdle, PSIS level. So other test which will help us uh, to know about the cause related to the deviation, that is the SLR, straight leg raising, slump test, Thomas test, and based on the examination, whichever muscle we find, we feel that whether we feel that it is tight, then we can proceed or we just can confirm it with the special test. So this is a brief idea related to the uh, postural evaluation. You all can study in the detail from the Maggie book. Thank you.